Hey everybody, welcome to The Art of Comics. It's me, your host, Andre Salazar. Today, we're going to do another one of these episodes of a this versus that, tit for tat, artist versus artist. And I'm really excited about this. This is kind of a fun little series to do. Originally, I was thinking of really artists that are on different points of the spectrum. I was going to do Chris Ware versus Jim Lee. But I realized that would be extremely difficult because while they're both comic book artists, their lexicon, the language they use, and the style of storytelling is so different. It'd be hard to find a lot of similarities. And so I thought it might be a little bit easier to do a this versus that with some artists a little bit closer in their kind of grouping. Therefore, as the title suggests, I am going to do Seth versus Chris Ware. I love Chris Ware, you guys know this. I also like Seth a lot too. He does work mostly, I think it's published Drawn and Quarterly, which is a great publisher. We're going to talk about specifically Wimbledon Green and Pukaville, and then two of Chris's work as well. Love both of these books. Thanks for watching. Let's turn around the camera and let's take a look at some art. Let's do it. Okay, boys and girls. Let's take a look at these comic books. And I don't know, for some reason I'm really liking this idea of going through books, not just talking about the specifics, but just looking at the style, learning from it. You know, this is a way to kind of study. One of the things, of course, that sticks out with these Drawn and Quarterly books and with Seth Green I'm looking at Green thinking Seth, is the, we're going to call it cartooning. The simplified cartooning, the very deliberate line brushwork that is done, and the color palette, very minimal, monochromatic mostly, although he does change hues, as you can tell. He will change hues for different meanings, different reasons. That is kind of like the first thing you think of. You think of a lot of panels. Most of this is 4x5, so we've got 20 panels per page, which is quite considerable. Because of that real estate, you are limited on the detail that you can do. So you're breaking things down in a very much almost animated way to just the most important details and information that's given. Palookaville, similar, although now Palookaville kind of changes it up a little bit in that it is changing panels, using open panels, using different things, different techniques, going wide. So now the page composition is a little bit more important, perhaps, although there's still a lot of the little panels in here. Contrast that to something that Chris Ware does, which is now full color, much more design oriented. Now when I say design, really what we're talking about is comics, stories, images that take into account all these principles of design, and you can see this being, part of some sort of a package or product. And this is looking at, first he's using full color. So we've got full color. It is stripped down, but the cartooning, I'll say, is a minimal. And what I mean by that is that it's not exaggerated. It's exaggerated, I guess, by shape and in this almost little meeples type of way, where Seth is going for a little bit more of a cartoon. And when I say cartoon, is exaggerated features, right? Especially in Wimbledon Green, probably even more so. Wimbledon Green's a great story about this collector. And so this is much more, exaggerated cartoon. This a little bit more realistic in some ways, right? And this is not realistic, but also not exaggerated. The feature's exaggerated. It's exaggerated in the presentation as a whole, but not too specific, elicit an emotional element. The emotions do come out, of course. This is very emotional, but it's not coming from he's got a big nose or things like that. It is emotional by the storytelling. Look at this, for instance. This page here. I just pulled it up. There's so many interesting ideas here where you have these very flat, two-dimensional hands. And yet these bodies have a three-dimensionality to them, the way they're kind of situated. So he combines flat things with some three-dimensional shape. That is a three-dimensional shape. Even though it's flat-looking, you can see his arm curves around the belly and chest of the boy. This is a kind of a three-dimensional rendering, actually. These arms are straight two-dimensional. So he's really playing with dimensions and really making it a very graphic way that's very just pops, that comes out, that's very explicit. The color choices too, the red, right, showing anger. He's upset, put this big red there. He's still mad. He's talking in red. He's now even mad, he's communicating these ideas of a child by colors, shapes, words. I am 4 years old, soon I'll be 5. I need my red block. I have a mama and a bed and a house with a bed and a door. Our car's blue. Mama's eyes are blue. Daddy's eyes are black, and it just like fascinating look at a child. Here, this is a great one too. This is the boy learning about his body, pooping, and the mother freaking out, and look at just such a cool idea. There's so much thought that goes into this, right? This page alone, just so much is happening, right? He's at this party. He got this hat. He's thinking all these thoughts. This woman, this girl, her pubes are barely, sticking out of her bathing suit. All these kind of like images and thoughts that kind of come together in this labyrinthine way. Thoughts, people in his life, and what he captures is these errant thoughts we have. He captures that visually, and he captures all that without words. I mean, there's words here, but a lot of it is just visual language. And then we go down here in this tiny stuff. Great stuff. This language is a little bit more traditional in the way this is told. Now, I know that made it sound like this is superior, in every way, and I'm hesitant to say that because while you can find, of course, stories and art and things, there is a quality difference. That's, there is also some subjectiveness to it. And so I'm not at a point where I'm going to say Chris Ware is a better, higher standard or class creator than Seth. I'm not going to say that because I don't feel comfortable with that. But I will say, sorry, but just touched the microphone. But I will say that Chris Ware hits me more emotionally. But this is the time, the effort that puts into this is quite remarkable. There's a lot of dialogue in here. There's a lot of information that is being conveyed. This is, how many pages? 150 or so? Let's see. This is 125 pages, but this is like double that as far as like information and story. Because of the panel size, because of what's happening, what's going on, this is a massive story in a way, because he's cramming so much into the page. Here, we will languish on a story element. We will just have a whole page of them getting some coffee, but there'll be an emotional element to getting that coffee, or showing them this sign for a party. A whole page. right? And so Chris will take his time. He'll look at this. This is not much going on. It's just, but there's an emotional loneliness and a sense of barren, and sadness that accompanies his work. And that's just a theme of Chris's work, Mr. Ware's work. When he draws, I saw this video of him talking about acting and how the drawings have to act. And then if the faces and the bodies and the positions aren't communicating quite what you want, then it's kind of like acting. You're not getting that out of them. The drawing isn't. So you have to redo it, and you have to kind of make sure that it's really conveying that stuff. In these stories, we still have that acting, but it's probably a little bit bigger, Again, the cartooning idea is exaggeration, right? I love them both. I really enjoyed both of these. I love the production of them. I love the presentation. I think they're brilliant. And I think that's all really we need to say. I think they're great books. Thanks for watching. And if you don't know either Seth or Chris Ware's work, I highly recommend getting some, checking it out. You might even find it in your library. So go see there as well. But highly coveted, great pieces of literature. And thanks for watching. If you want to see my stuff, go check out my other channels. Go look at my Patreon. See what I'm working on, some new comics. And see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.
Are you ready?